back for the next video in this Wanda Clark Behind the Scenes round table discussion format of what she saw during her Here's Lucy years with Lucille Ball. So Wanda, during the documentary, or I should say that some of the material from the documentary, one of the pictures that you had given me to use, showed Lucy on stage with several other famous people, maybe some celebrities, and they were doing some kind of routine. But you said that you were actually there on set and you were waiting to have pictures signed. Is that right?
Yeah, because there was always a lot of work in the office. A heavy phone job, always people wanted Lucy to do this or do that, and so many of them I could just answer myself, knowing her schedule. Special things, because I'd say, Lucy, the Thalians want you to do something. The Thalians was a group, I think Debbie Reynolds was president most of her life, and or I'd say, some Bob Hope wants you to do this show, and she'd give you an answer, but
like make it happen, Wanda.
So I can't remember we had everyone. Joan Crawford did a Here's Lucy show. Just so many actors.
Oh gosh.
It's almost easier to say who didn't do one.
You said Joan Crawford, and the first you mentioned Betty Davis earlier, and the first thing that popped into my head was whatever happened to Baby Jane. Oh my gosh. Random, off topic,
Yeah.
I know.
And Betty didn't do a Lucy show, but Joan did, and played herself. And so I'm just trying to remember.
Did a lot of the guest stars play themselves when they came in?
Some of the biggest names, like Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, played themselves, and the whole script was around her ring, that rock that her husband had given her. And naturally, Lucy got it stuck on her finger and couldn't get it off. And the whole that one had a lot of reporters playing themselves. Like Cleo's husband, Cecil Smith, was drama critic and TV critic for the LA Times most of his career.
Oh.
And he played himself, and there was half a dozen other, Rona Barrett and quite a few others. But they couldn't get that ring off, and Taylor and Burton had a public appearance to make. So the curtain was behind Elizabeth, and Lucy's hand was, and Elizabeth had the other hand behind
I think I
her.
remember seeing that one.
And Elizabeth was tan. They had just come from a vacation in Puerto
She's all white hand out there.
Yeah, this white arm behind the curtain doing this and that, and Elizabeth kept trying to. Anyway, it was a silly premise, but it was a good show.
Yeah.
What was Elizabeth Taylor like as a person?
The crew just loved Elizabeth because she would go down there and chat with them. She wasn't uppity in any way. The crew liked her. She was a little bawdy anyway, but the crew liked her, and she was very, very pleasant. And Burton was very impressed with Gail Gordon, for one, because he was in radio and TV, but Burton admired how he acted, and told him so. He watched, but he wrote a book that said some pretty bad things about Lucy. Broke her heart. She said, I didn't know he didn't like me.
Burton did?
Yeah, he did. His book that was written, I guess in the 70s. I can't remember the name of it, but he did recall some times working on that Lucy show. He didn't like her. Elizabeth never said that. But Burton, he printed it, and it really broke Lucy's heart.
Well, you mentioned Gail Gordon, and I'd never seen the guy. I'd never heard of him until Nickelodeon started playing Nick at Night.
Yeah.
Well, they started playing what I would consider old shows, like the Dennis the Menace show. And Gail Gordon, I believe, played the second Mr. Wilson. And I always liked his character, and I always kind of wanted to meet him. And then when you provided those pictures of him, and I was like, wow, I wish I had a time machine to go back and live through some
wouldn't
of
it
these.
be nice?
Yeah.
But Gail did every one of her shows. In fact, Lucy wanted, when I Love Lucy started, the characters of Fred and Ethel Mertz, she wanted Gail Gordon and Bea Benaderet to play those parts. But they couldn't, they each had a contract.
Yeah.
They were doing, I think E. Gordon was doing My Favorite Teachers, and I forgot, and Gail was doing something else. But anyway, that's how Desi and the director, before the series started, the director knew about Vivian Vance, and she was doing a play a little bit outside of LA. There's a couple of little theaters down there. And so Desi and the director went down to see her. And Desi immediately said, well, she's got the job, before he even told Lucy.
Like, that's Ethel.
Yeah, he did. And Vivian was quite glamorous. She had a big stage career going. She wasn't sure she wanted to play that frumpy little old landlady. But she did.
But she ends up being Lucy's best friend in the
Yeah.
show, but yeah, she's not glamorous or
Yeah,
anything.
and she was a glamorous woman, and she was a trained singer, where Lucy wasn't, and all the jokes about Lucy to open her mouth and everybody would try to shut her up. Because
Yeah.
she deliberately tried not to sing. Vivian was a trained singer, and so was Bill Frawley. He had done a lot of movies, gangster movies and musicals in the 30s and 40s. But by the 50s, he kind of was not doing much work. But Desi thought he'd be just perfect for Frawley, for Fred Mertz. And he was. They were just magic, that cast.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So were they actually friends outside of the business?
Well,
Or-
Frawley and Vivian didn't like each other. But you would never know it. You'd show me a time when you could see
No,
that
you wouldn't.
were perfect. But I
As
heard this
professionals.
story, because I wasn't there, but this story I heard many times, that Frawley overheard Vivian saying something like, people think I'm married to that old goat. And Frawley says, well, you ain't no peach, honey, or something to that effect. So, but they never know it when they were
Right.
working together. Just
No.
all those song and dance numbers when they were doing little things, you just would never know they didn't like it. And Frawley was known for, he wouldn't read the whole script. He would tear out the pages with his character in them. And there was one time he told Desi, and he says, well, that's not funny. And Desi said, well, if you read the whole script, it would be. So, but he didn't have a family at the time, apparently. He lived in a hotel, a nice hotel, and after I Love Lucy finished, Frawley went to work on Fred McMurray and the Three Boys.
My Three Sons?
My Three Sons, thank you, Tim. And played it a couple of seasons, I think, before he died. And when Frawley died...
Was he the old man?
Yeah, the grandfather.
Okay.
Then
Bub, I think. was his name.
Bud. Then another actor, good actor, took over for the rest of the season. I can't think of his name right now. I didn't know it if I could say it, probably. And he did a great job too, but Frawley was just perfect as the grandpa.
Wow.
And I haven't seen him lately, but I knew those boys for a while. They're good close friends with one of my good friends in California. So I heard about the actors that played the boys.
The My Three Sons boys?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. I can't even remember. That was one of the shows that Nickelodeon played at Nick.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I'd ever seen that show, too.
Yeah, well, they filmed right next door to our show, the Lucy Show. And Bill would walk over to our stage and visit with the crew occasionally.
Oh, wow. Well, I think that's a good stopping point for this segment, and we will pick it up again on our next video with Wanda Clark.